Hi there, Wellness Wednesday listeners. We wanted to share some exciting news with you. We just recently launched our brand new updated website. It's so nice. You got to go to our website, 3wmedical.org.
Hello, and welcome to Wellness Wednesday with 3W. Wellness Wednesday is sponsored by 3W Medical for Women, a nonprofit medical clinic offering free of charge or low-cost reproductive health services to women in the Seattle area, regardless of income or insurance status. 3W does not profit off of the reproductive health choices women make. The information shared in this podcast is the opinion of the speaker or speakers. Medical information is not intended as individual medical consultation, but for general education only. Always consult your own health professional for personalized advice regarding medical decisions. And if you're in the Seattle area, consider making an appointment to consult with us. I'm Alejandra, Content Marketing Specialist at 3W Medical for Women and the host of today's podcast. Hello and welcome back. I'm here today in another Wellness Wednesday podcast with Helen.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Helen. This is so great to have you back. I know I've been the temporary host, but
And you've been wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
Gosh.
Thank you. No, but it's so nice to have you here and get to have a little bit of time with you.
Yes.
With this great, exciting topic we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah.
How is motherhood, first of all? How's it going?
Wow, it has really kicked my butt. I'm not going to lie. I don't know how other people have experienced motherhood. I'm sure it's kind of on the same vein. But, you know, with adoption, it adds another level of complications and of different emotions. And it's been wonderful in a nutshell, overall, big picture wise. But I'm not going to lie. It also has been super, super tough.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying it. I know that the staff is doing good. You guys are in good hands, and I'm just grateful for the team to pick up and go. And it's been, this for me is such a treat.
Aww.
Coming in and seeing all of you. Of course I miss Max, but I also know that I think, you know, it's like, I like being a working mom.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I'm settling into.
That's so great. And I think, well, it's definitely the topic that we're going to be talking about today. And your journey as becoming CEO of 3W and now having baby Max, and, you know, you and Steve working with how that new lifestyle is for you guys. So
I grew up with parents that worked. My mom worked all my life. And I think the reason why she chose to do that and felt okay to do that, because I know that's not a luxury for everybody or an option or a choice for everybody, was because she was able to leave me with my grandparents and my aunts who, you know, she's the oldest. My mom is the oldest of 7. And so my youngest aunt is only 7 years older than me. And so I always had friends. I always never felt like I was missing out from having a mother around, because I had 6 moms.
Right.
And my grandma, you know, I was such a great she still is such a good caretaker. And so I never felt like I missed out on my mom having to work. It just, she's the oldest and she had to go to work to help put 3 of her younger sisters through college, helping my grandparents out.
Right.
So, you know, the whole mentality around, like, is it okay for women to have children and work? Is it not okay for women to work while having little children? I mean, all of that is such a personal decision.
Right. And as a family too, right?
Yes. And it needs to be a very thoughtful, intentional conversation with your spouse and what type of community you have, because that might not always be the case.
Right. What's the phrase that you always say, especially in your family growing up? You have a phrase.
It takes a village to raise a child.
Yes.
It really does. It really does. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, you know, with that example of a mother having responsibilities other than me,
right,
it really had given me the security to now come to the same conclusion myself of I can raise very well-rounded children, healthy children, happy children, and still work.
Yes.
And you and I have talked about this many, many times before.
Yeah.
3W being here is not just a job.
Right.
It's a calling because of the mission and because of who we're called to serve. And so, you know, with my little one at home, Max, he's going to be a part of that story now.
Right.
He knows I'm always going to be there for him, but he knows that mom also has to be there for others.
Right.
And it's not about what's more important or not. It's a balance.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's so inspiring too, because it is true. Like each family scenario is different.
Yes.
Yet you've grown up with this amazing family where you've kind of built those, you know, blocks, just molding your way and realizing for your family, this is something that's achievable and reachable. And I think diving into this, this podcast, talking about your experience starting off, you know, in college, then discovering what your passion was, which ended up being this clinic, you know, and then you and your husband, you know, diving into it together, now having baby Max.
Yeah.
How has your experience been through that process? Like that success, right? You know, kind of starting from the bottom and seeing where your gifts and talents have lied, which has brought you to where you are now.
Yeah, I never in a million years thought that I would become CEO, you know, of a clinic. And CEO, when I say that, I kind of laugh sometimes because it's a huge title to hold.
Sure.
And I respect it very much, but I'm also just a CEO of a tiny little clinic in Seattle. And so it's very funny for me sometimes to hear myself being referred as CEO, because I feel like I'm very big pants to fill kind of situation. But yeah, going into college, you know, I have I graduated at the UW with my master's in social work, and pretty immediately I knew I wanted to work in a capacity that serves the community, because the community in itself, with my family being immigrants from Vietnam, had always really embraced us. And I wanted to be an agent to give back. And I, you know, fortunately, I was able to use a lot of what I was taught and educated in the program, in the social work program, to build this organization. And in the field, it's called macro social work. So it's building a whole infrastructure to then impact large groups of people, large communities of people. And that's what 3W is structured as, is macro social work. But, you know, starting out as a very young professional, you got to go through that grind. You got to go through, and fortunately for me, I was able to work while going through school. I had 2 jobs while going through my master's program.
Oh my goodness.
And because I wanted real on the job kind of experience.
Right.
I am not scholarly. So sitting in a classroom and reading from a textbook, it was just not very tangible for me. I needed to take the concept they were teaching and apply it immediately and put it into practice. So I was a case manager, and I worked in a variety of different nonprofit organizations in the Seattle area while I was studying to get my master's.
Okay.
And then that experience has taught me a lot, because I had to work with bad bosses. I had to work with, you know, bullied social workers and colleagues. I had to work with a variety of people in a lot of different capacity to then really appreciate and help me mold into the CEO I am today, because I learned what was good and I learned what was bad.
Right.
And I think that everyone that goes through college, and I encourage people to have that type of mentality where just because you have a degree does not mean you graduate and get the corner office in a high-rise building.
Right.
Your degree means nothing when you can't put it into practice, when you can't execute it. So that was one of the things that I really took to heart, is like, I really want to work not even in my field. to really appreciate the different types of lessons that I was going to learn along the way. So I was a receptionist when I came out. When I worked in the mail room. I, really working from the bottom up is how I like to encourage young people to have that type of mentality. And that has really served me well, being in the position I am, because I don't ever want to ask my staff to do something that I wasn't willing to do myself.
Right. And that's something that even personally, as we've talked and as I've been learning my role here as well, it's not so much the skill or the degree, right, like you say, but it's the willingness to learn and the willingness to put yourself in positions where you can grow, you know, and that's helped me a ton because I myself too am not very scholarly. College was very hard for me too. So just kind of grasping that, well, I'm also hands-on. So how can I apply it? How can I step forward and try my best? So that, I mean, just hearing the beginnings, you've been in so many different jobs, so many different positions and experience good and bad, and so to say, not everybody who experiences getting that college experience, getting their degrees, you're going to receive good and bad in every situation.
Right.
Yeah. So,
and it's your attitude about it. Okay. Am I going to take this bad situation or this tough colleague kind of situation as like, how am I learning about how I respond to it?
Right.
It is really where I felt like that gave me the most profound lesson is like, I don't want to be like that boss.
Right.
One day. I don't want to be like that employee one day. So that has been really helpful. And that has really shaped how I lead 3W. Hopefully, hopefully my staff will agree with that. But yeah, and then starting 3W, I had to wear a lot of hats. In the beginning, I was the second hired employee, and I had to play reception. I also had to play fundraiser. I also had to play administrative assistant. So many different hats. And my husband was there along the way. We got engaged right when we first started 3W, and so he was very much along for the ride and seeing how, we started from one phone, one printer that barely worked.
That's amazing.
Going from Starbucks to Starbucks to see if I can plug in my printer to work. So he's been there from the beginning. And so he feels very much a part of this mission as well. And so many people along the way as well has been a part of this mission.
Yeah.
So I've been very lucky.
Yes.
To just be able to go along for the ride and soak it all in.
Definitely. Well, and I think it's just amazing. Like you and Melanie, the other co-founder of 3W, just seeing from an idea, from a thought, it became this reality. And now how great that it's helping so many women, just seeing your vision come to life. And I'm sure both, Melanie and Paul and you and Steve, just seeing, your baby come to become a reality, I think is amazing. And even for me, just hearing about it from a long time ago, thinking, oh, cool, this clinic might open.
Yeah.
To I'm actually working here now. I think it's so cool how that works. So, and just the, experiences of women coming in here, it feeling such a good, safe place to come, to feel comfortable, to be, cared for, all of the things, all those little details that we find that are important, to express to our patients, I think makes all the difference because they remember.
Yes.
Right. So I think your vision and just continuing with that vision has been amazing. And I know for all of us that work here, I know it's such an amazing experience because we're seeing it firsthand.
Yes.
We're seeing that vision come to life on a daily basis. And I know that hopefully, whoever's listening to us, if they're not familiar with 3W or if they're not, didn't even know about us,
give us a shot.
Exactly. I love it too. Like even if you're visiting, even if you're from another state, you're able to pop in, get an appointment, and there's no strings attached,
Yep.
you know?
Yep.
So it's such a unique model. And I think it, helps so many,
Yes.
just with the type of care that we can provide. So,
yeah. Yeah.
but what advice would you give
Yeah.
women that are either in college or maybe they're just trying to figure out what they're going to do in their life? What advice would you give them as encouragement? Because I know there's so many, especially here in the Seattle area, there's so many different cultures, ethnic backgrounds, and with different goals in mind. Like what is something you would give them?
Yeah. Like I said, I did not know this is what I wanted to do professionally or personally. Coming from a ethnic background, being Vietnamese, it was very ingrained in me from the beginning, very early of my youth is, find something stable, find something that makes a lot of money, financial stability, so that you never have to worry about, losing your job. And that has some really good weight to it. Yes, if that's the job you land into, and that's what you enjoy, and that's your priority, to have a very balanced work life where you can leave your work at work and go home and not have to worry about it, and you don't have to worry about things financially.
Right.
If that's what you're called to do, that's great. If you're called to do something else, that's also okay. I don't know what work-life balance means. I'm 33 and I'm still trying to figure that out. But I also honor my personality in the sense of my work here at 3W is my life. It is what I am called to do. There are absolutely mornings that I don't want to wake up and go to work. I probably just need another couple of hours of sleep, especially now with Max.
Yes.
But I know that I am called to do this work. And so I get up and I get into work, and that drive into work is so important for me. And I've been very, very blessed to be surrounded by people like you, Alejandra, who want to roll up their sleeves and do the work as much as I do, because there's a calling on our lives. And that calling here at 3W is, how do we provide women with the space and with a mission to help them, to serve them, to walk beside them, to partner with them, whatever it is that they need when they walk through the door. How can we completely empty ourselves to fill up your cup for the day? And so this is so not a job. And I know that it is very rare to find something like that. And I don't want to, especially for millennials our age, and Gen Zs our age, that they're so unwilling to take the crummy job because they're waiting for this mission like 3W to come along and smack them in the face and say, this is where you're supposed to be. We don't always have that luxury.
Yes.
There's always different circumstances. But if you can land in a space like that, hold on to it as much as possible. Hold on to it and appreciate it as much as possible.
Definitely.
And my advice for young people is, like, you have to go through that grind. You have to go through that crummy job 2-3 times before you land in a place that really honors you and honors your talent and honors your gifts, and says, how do we both win? How does the company win? How does the organization win? And how do you win at the end of the day? And, there's folks out there that need to make a living, that has to stay with that crummy job because they need to put food on the table. Gosh, I admire those people so much, because they don't have a choice to leave that crummy job. Then I hope that they carve out some peace and support somewhere else. Is my advice for that. But in any employment situation, we all have to work because we all have to eat, but try to find that silver lining, try to find that joy wherever you can to keep you going, because we have the luxury to work in a really great place, but not everybody does either. But it doesn't mean that it's going to be forever. And for folks that are starting out in their career, it's okay, to start out in that crummy job. It's not going to be forever. Jump to another job where you feel more appreciated, that pays you better, that gives you a better work-life balance, whatever that looks for you. And especially with young people, I think they're so afraid of jumping around because they think they're never going to find that spot, or they're
right job.
Yeah. Or they're so hell-bent on like sticking with what they've learned, or anything like that. It's like, be open to the opportunity that presents itself and walk through that door. What's the risk that you're really taking?
Right.
Especially as like a 20-year-old something. You're like, oh my gosh, you still have so much time to figure things out and to really embrace the lessons that come with every job, and keep it in your pocket of like, yeah, that's a person I really want to mimic one day when I'm in that position. And then there's going to be people that you go, that is not how I want to respond to an employee or something, or how that's not how I want to lead. Just because you're taking the trash out now doesn't mean you're going to be taking the trash out forever.
True. That's such good advice.
And you know what? So what? The trash needs to be taken out. Get up and take out the trash. Like, you're not above it.
Yes.
So just, I guess that's one thing that I want to leave our listeners is like, if you're young, if you're starting out in your career, just be willing and flexible and open to the different opportunities and the different lessons that you're going to have in your professional employment.
Right. Because they'll all add up to what you're going towards.
Yeah. Whatever that may be. If one day you're kind of in my shoes where you get to lead a whole organization, or you get to stay at home with your kids.
Yeah.
And your kids are kind of like little employees in some ways that are very demanding. So you're going to need to use some of those skills to negotiate sometimes with your children.
True.
There's so many lessons in every opportunity.
Yes. Well, Helen, it's been a joy to chat with you and have you in here.
Yeah.
And just give your insights on your experience, because it's so valid, and it's very relatable to me personally, and I'm sure to a lot of our listeners. So Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sharing your experience. And I'm sure this won't be the last time that you'll come in and give us more of your awesome experiences.
Thank you so much, Holly.
Thank you, Helen. For more information about 3W, please visit our website at 3wmedical.org. That's the number 3, the letter W, medical.org. From there, you can learn more about the services we provide, book an appointment, or make a donation if you'd like to support our mission. You can also call our office at 206-588-0311. That's 206-588-0311. If you liked this episode, please share it with others and consider subscribing on your favorite podcast platform so you'll never miss an episode. Thank you so much for listening, and until next time, stay healthy and be well.